Welcome to the Chapman CRE webcast, Student Impact Series. I'm Stephen Ames, the Executive Director of the Hayden School of Real Estate. And today, our goal in these conversations is to hear directly from students about their journey, their experiences in the program, and how those experiences have shaped their careers and professional development. Why don't we start off by just having you tell us a little bit about yourself and your background before joining the Chapman MSRE program, and then maybe tell us what led you to Chapman for your graduate studies.
Absolutely. So I'm born and raised in Newport Beach, so I'm from Orange County. I pursued my bachelor's degree at University of Colorado Boulder, Lead School of Business, where I emphasized in real estate. And I also pursued a internship in real estate while I was there and was inspired by a professor who was a developer to enter the development space in real estate. Post grad, with my interest in development, I started at KB Home doing land acquisition. And I realized that there was a inflection point within my career where I knew I wanted to be in the real estate development ecosystem, but I wanted to reinvent myself, which ultimately led me to pursue my graduate studies at Chapman University.
Born and raised California guy, and when I was looking at universities many years ago, Chapman really had a welcoming environment both for undergrad studies, which is where I started in more of the computer science and technological side, and gravitated really towards the business school and the real estate school. So going from being a student, an undergraduate student, straight into the Chapman real estate program was really one of the best decisions of my life, and gave me an amazing runway for my early career and what's to come.
Prior to joining Chapman, my career in commercial real estate started at KBS Realty Advisors in 2014, and I was there for a little over 3 years. After that, I moved up to Seattle for a brief period to work for a local landlord, Schnitzer West. And at this time, I really didn't know what I was going to be doing in real estate, and I ended up missing California, moved back down, and then I started at Savills in 2019, right before the pandemic and tenant advisory. And that was the first time where I felt, wow, I really like what I'm doing and I feel like I could be really good at this. And so 4 years later, I came across Chapman's real estate program and I decided to participate. And ultimately, what led me to joined that was it was a local school, so that was very important to me. And then it also offered classes in the evenings because at this time, 4 years into Savills and pretty much every year preceding the pandemic, I was gaining traction in my career that I wasn't totally willing to sacrifice, and I wasn't sure how graduate school would fit. And this program seemed to very much accommodate that. And so it was just something simple of it being local, but also I was really looking to make my ecosystem in Orange County smaller. I wanted to make sure I was familiar with all the industry leaders and also make sure that I was going to stay connected to the future ones as well. So I found that going to school and working in Orange County was going to kind of keep my world small. So that's how I came up to that decision.
It took me a long time to really figure out what I wanted to do with my career, and that it was going to be real estate is what I wanted to do. So I started my schooling in 2016 at Brigham Young University in Utah. I was there for 2 years, did a lot of my general education studies. So I ended up transferring to Chapman University. I studied finance. And while at Chapman in 2022 is when I started, I was coming on as a junior, transfer junior, and there was no undergrad real estate group. There was no club. So there wasn't a really good way for students to get introduced to the industry. So a friend and I decided to start the Chapman Real Estate Association, which was a club focused for undergrad students at Chapman. And it was a way for not only us to, or I guess not only for students to learn more about the industry, but it was a great way for us to network in the industry here in Orange County and really kind of put ourselves in front of a lot of these decision makers in commercial real estate. So once that kind of started, I was all in on real estate. I knew that's what I wanted to do. And then the question came, okay, what do I want to do in real estate? Do I want to do brokerage? Do I want to do the principal side? Do I want to do the institutional finance side? While I was finishing my undergrad at Chapman, I got a job as an asset manager for a student housing shop located here in Orange County. And I quickly learned how intensive, like labor intensive student housing is on the operations side. But I got exposed to the funds and I got exposed to the principal side and how those fund structures work. That company, unfortunately, is no longer in business. So I left about a year ago. So I still wasn't quite sure what I wanted to do in real estate. I had the fund experience. I had the principal experience. I didn't know what to do. I had just graduated from Chapman undergrad, spring 2025. I just left my job because they were going under. So I called Alex because I had known him through the Chapman Real Estate Association. I knew what great things the MSRE program was doing. And we met and he totally sold me on the program. I basically came to him saying, Alex, I need a job. Can you help me find a job? And he said, well, I don't have anything, but the MSRE program has 100% placement rate. So I invite you essentially to join the program. And I did. And so far it's been great. We can get a little bit more into what exactly I'm doing now and how that all came to pass. But that's kind of what initially got me into the Chapman MSRE program.
Good for you for founding the Chapman Real Estate Club, by the way, which has something like 250 members. It's very robust. Great job on that.
Thank you. We went from 0 students to over the course of 2 years to being from 0 to being the biggest club on campus. So I think it was a timing thing. It was just, there was a lot of demand for it. So it was
demand
really
for real estate professionals. We'll get into your career path in a minute, but just maybe take a second and reflect on the program. You're almost finished with it. What was sort of the greatest impact on you throughout the program? Was it the faculty? Was it the site visits? What stood out for you?
I think what really stood out for me was really getting an inside look at the industry. Sure, you can go to school and learn about how to underwrite deals or learn about specific market analytics for the Orange County market, for example. But where the program really showed a lot of value to me was seeing how all the different players in the industry work together. We've had a lot of guest speakers over my first year in the program from all across the industry. And a lot of times we would have people that are on opposite sides of the industry lecturing at the same time. So we would get to see them interact and see how they communicate. For example, we had one class where we had the global head of real estate for UPS and an industrial developer. So it was, they're clients of each other. And it was really interesting to see that perspective. So that's where the program really brought a lot of value to me, was the small little nuances of the industry.
The biggest impact for me was the really good blend of the academics and the real world hands-on involvement from the professors and outside industry professionals that the university connected us with. So specifically just the excellent mentorship, the different site visits, and actually going to see the physical real estate. And then personally for me, the greatest growth opportunity was through the case competitions, where we actually got to work with real life examples of what we'd be doing in the real world. And all of that combined has really served me incredibly in my early career here at Pacific Life on the debt origination side.
I definitely see the faculty. There's amazing experiences that I've had. They show out for you and they show up. Like during the NAIOP competition, all of my professors were there. A lot of the, advisory council showed up to those who could have. Being able to participate in competitions and opportunities such as the NAIOP real estate competition was amazing, and be able to showcase our skills to industry professionals. And going back to the faculty, it's amazing because I was able to get work at Chapman doing consulting part-time for a company called Cassette, and the conversations that you have with your professors lead to real world opportunities during your studies. And that was truly impactful to be able to make the connection.
For sure, the faculty, and main reason being, at this time, I was growing many aspects of my life. I was newly married, pregnant with my first daughter, building a career. I was transitioning to a broker, and now I'm finishing this program, pregnant with my second daughter. And so having faculty that was always willing to work with me under my circumstance was very impactful towards the completion because going every semester, I'm like, I don't know if I can swing this. And having a program that was willing to work with me through all of that was huge towards my success to completion. And then also, most definitely the speaker series. This the speaker series is such pivotal way to get educated on not only how deals are getting structured, but also the mindset that these um, leaders have and the ethic, and it helps you understand who you are because some things are either going to resonate with you or challenge the way that you're thinking, and then you start to really self-reflect and understand like, oh, I'm like this or I'm not like this. And I think that ultimately helps you get more direction and you now have a bigger picture on who the players are, how do we all fit together, and what piece of the puzzle you want to be a part of. So I found that to be a very impactful piece. And also just being well connected to the other side of whatever side you choose to be on.
That's great to hear. We definitely pride ourselves on academic rigor, but also on industry connection. During the course of a year, I think we've added it up. It's almost 80 guest speakers and site visits and all that. And connecting you to the real world as a student is super important for us and also relates to job outcomes, which we pride ourselves on very high percentage of job placement. If you were to compare yourself today to the person you were when you entered the program, what would you say is the biggest difference?
Well, to come back to school in your 30s, the last time I was in school was 2014. It really teaches you like how you've changed so much. I mean, the way I go to school, the way I retain information. I'm completely studying something opposite of what I went for undergrad for. And it's also rejuvenated me. I feel younger again. So even though 34 isn't old, you're certainly not the new hire of the office. And so now working with students who are in their early 20s and my adoption and adaptation to AIs, I wouldn't have done that had it not been for going back to school at the time period that I did. And now it's part of my daily life. And so I kind of feel young again and like I'm with it. I'm with the times. I feel competitive. I feel much more confident in myself because I feel a lot more knowledgeable and have a greater sense of direction. So I would say I genuinely feel a lot more sophisticated now than I did when I first started.
I would say confidence. I know that right off the bat. Going into the program, I was definitely a little more reserved and a little more shy and maybe a little more hesitant on my decision making and just general confidence in myself. But I can tell that going through the MSRE program in just 10 months, it's a night and day program, both from what I'm able to accomplish in my professional life and how I'm able to articulate what we need to see day to day, but also in my personal life and how that translates to just being a better individual, a better citizen, a better brother, and a better son. So all of those things really came together because of the confidence instilled in me by the Master's in Real Estate program.
That's great to hear. It sounds like sort of relationship side, interpersonal uh, relationships was something that you gained from the program as well.
Yeah, one of the great parts about doing the Chapman MSRE was the emphasis on emotional intelligence and really taking a deeper look and how that impacts us both in our professional day to day, but also in how we evaluate our personal relationships. So that's something that really stuck with me and continues to stick with me as I live my life.
Let's shift over to career impact because I know the program has had a strong impact on your career trajectory. Tell me how it has impacted your career trajectory being involved in the program.
It's a great question. I've always told people that it's put me many years ahead of where I otherwise would have been. One of the specific examples I can give you is general committee board meeting presentations. I'd say for someone in the stage of my career and specifically my age, my ability to go in and give full-fledged presentations to investment committee and defend our thesis is something that's a little more rare and something that's also been instilled in me by Chapman. That was really one of the greatest skills and one of the most important skills that I learned going through that program. So that's a real world example, and I'm extremely grateful for what that's been able to serve me with in my career so far.
Yeah, absolutely. It really helped me make the jump from the land acquisition role and an operator to more of an institutional path that is more investment oriented, which is what I set out to do when I chose Chapman as the program that I wanted to be part of. The knowledge that I learned at Chapman was able to let me speak the language of the current role that I'm in, which I didn't previously have. And it's expanded my professional network, my confidence in the career direction that I've chose, and the practical experience really translates from the coursework and the conversations that we had in the classroom.
You were able to land an excellent opportunity with IHP in Newport Beach, which is an excellent firm. And from my perspective, they're opportunistic investor. They take on broken deals and fix them, and very profitable. Tell us a little bit about that opportunity.
I'm so excited. I started last week, so I'm really happy to be there. It's an investment firm, provides a lot of the JV equity and partnering with a lot of private and regional builders, as well as sometimes public builders. So it's great to be on the institutional side and then being able to bring the experience that I had at KB home with an operator and pair them together, and also get the unique perspective of doing land development deals in which they're involved with and master plan communities. So it's great to be part of IHP, and I'm really excited about that.
Absolutely. I can't tell you how many times I've reached out to people that I've met from the speaker series, especially regarding active deals that I'm working on. There's been a lot of sites presented in the speaker series, and many of which I've already engaged with in the past, but usually I'm dealing with, a listing rep, but to hear directly from the developer and the owner, and it gives me more a unique perspective on who's on the other side of the table. And that's a experience that I don't think I would have had just as a broker. I mean, it's also just disarms the situation because, when brokers reach out, these landlords are just, they don't know who you are. And so now, having these classes in intimate settings, seeing each other face to face, I can just say being a student seems more of a warmer introduction than a tenant rep. So I for sure feel much more well connected, and I guess things don't seem as intimidating.
So like I said, I joined the program with the sole purpose of finding a job, and I did. I started the program a year ago in September 2025, and in probably November 2025, Stephen Ames, and came to class one day and said, "Hey, I have a friend at JLL that's looking to hire a spring intern. They've never done a spring intern before. They've only done summer interns. So they want somebody with a little bit of experience and someone that's eager to get into the brokerage space." And this was an internship for capital markets at JLL, doing specifically debt and equity. So I had been networking with the JLL office in Irvine for the better part of 2 years, meeting as many people as I can, just trying to understand more about that office, what they do. So when Steve brought this up in class, I jumped on it. I emailed him minutes after he announced it in class with my resume saying, "Hey, I'm about this." Later that day, or the next day, because it was late, I emailed everybody I knew in the JLL Irvine office saying, "I heard about this position open up. I would love to, be referred for the position. I'd love to grab lunch." About a week later, I got an email from JLL capital markets team asking for an interview, and I met with the office heads here, and they gave me an offer. And it was, there were hundreds of applications that went in for the role, in addition to all the efforts I'd put in to trying to get into this office for 2 years, the program opened that door for me. It opened a warm lead, a warm referral. I had a good relationship with you, and you were kind enough to refer me over to the office. And it would not have been possible for me to get that role without the help of you and the program. And just a month ago, they offered me a full-time position. So I'm still here at JLL Irvine working on the debt and equity team. And it's been great. It's a huge opportunity, and I couldn't be more grateful for it.
Well, congratulations on that. And I think it is a great opportunity for you. But to your credit, we helped tee it up, but you kind of hit the long ball on that. So good for you. Really happy for you, and I think it's going to be a great entry point for you, and a lot of advancement ahead. Let's just kind of wrap up maybe with what would your advice be to future students who are considering the MSRE program at Chapman?
I would say leverage what you can. You get out of the program what you put into it. You can show up to class and not talk to anybody and do your homework and study and do okay on the tests. And there's value in that. But where the real value is reaching out to the guest speakers after they have spoken and thanking them for coming in and setting up a coffee chat or a lunch. It's becoming friends with the other people in your cohort, because relationships are key to I think any industry. We saw it with my offer here at JLL. I would not be sitting here if it weren't for the program. And if I had showed up to the program and taken the tests and done my homework, and not built relationships with Steve or the other students, and Alex, then they would not have been as confident in sending in that referral. So I think it's 100%. You get out what you put in, and showing up early to class, getting an extra 10 minutes before class starts to talk with people. That's, I think, where the true value is in the program.
I think it's okay to not exactly know the direction that you want to take when you pursue the degree. And it will become clear because of the amount of people that you will meet that come and speak in the classroom to the direction that you want to take your career. And once you develop that clear perspective on why you want the degree, you'll be able to go and chase after and make the connections with the people in the industry who will help you progress to that. And Chapman has the network to let you do that. So the values in the networking opportunities, you get what you get, from what you put out of it, and pursuing like any internships or part-time work and any consulting roles that you can during your studies is impactful, because what you're speaking about in the classroom and the conversations that you have really do translate.
If you are taking a serious consideration into working in real estate, I would say go for it. Do the program. When I first started, I was just calling to inquire, and now here I am done 3 years later, and it just happens so fast. Even if I took the long track, and I just feel like you're just going to end up being much more well connected. I feel like everyone in the program puts you in front of anyone that you need to know, whether it's something you're working on, whether it's for your class project. For whatever reason you need to meet someone, if you just ask, you can get an introduction. And the program does a really good job of segueing you out to your next phase of life, and it's not just ends at graduation. I feel like it really connects you further into how you're going to apply this into your career.
I would say it's very important to, if you're on the fence, take that risk and take the leap of faith. It's always worth investing in yourself and investing in the community around you. And Chapman gives you the best opportunity to do that. I think going through that program and getting to go out into the community and go out into the different fields in different cities, there was an immense opportunity to really get creative and learn more and really take charge. So that's the biggest piece of advice that I would give back.
So thank you again for joining us, and join us next time on the Chapman CRE webcast for our next episode. And thank you very, very much again.